Hey folks out there, what I'm going to talk to you people about today, I've got a lot of videos, automotive, Harley Davidson. I'm a master mechanic. I'm age 63. I've been retired for a while, but I'm your all-around technician, engine builder, automatic transmission builder, differential gearbox rebuilder. You know, the calibrations, you know, I'm good at machining, measuring ID, OD, mic, you know, balancing, you name it. You can watch a lot of my other videos. What I want to talk to you people about today is something very important you can do yourself. You don't have to go to a shop where they have the compressor and air hose and all that. You don't have to do that. I'm going to show you people a simple way by using an electric product that's only about 30 bucks that you should be carrying in your truck, SUV, or car anyway. A tire air pump. A tire air pump. Okay, to do some things that are very important. And I had to do this a couple of days ago on the 89 Cadillac Brougham with the 307 Olds engine it came with some 31 years ago. And I wanted to make sure my fuel lines and my evaporative system was working right, because I was building up vacuum in my tank when I take my gas cap off. You could hear the vacuum suck in. And I was having some fuel delivery issues also, which I later discovered it was just some corrosion on the ECC box behind my glove box on this Cadillac, the plugs. You know, the car was parked in my residential garage for five years. And you know, upon restarting it, of course, everything was sticky on the 4-barrel quadrajet carb and all that. Okay, I've been over all that. But here's something I wanted to do on this car. Anyway, it's things I just checked along the way. Okay, I wanted to check fuel lines from the engine to the fuel tank, and the evaporator line, not the return fuel line, but the evaporator line from the fuel tank to the fuel pump that's bolted to my engine, because of course it has the mechanical fuel pump. And here's what I did. I decided, even though I have a filter in my quadrajet carburetor, I decided I wanted to add an inline fuel directly behind my fuel pump up to the right of my engine, just as a protective measure, because you know, you don't want crap in your carburetor. But why get crap, rust debris from metal lines in your fuel tank into your fuel pump? You see my point? All fuel pumps should have a filter behind them, whether they're electric or mechanical like mine. So here's what I did when I had that fuel line loose from the fuel pump. Alright, to check. Now first off, before you do any of these procedures, before you clean your fuel vapor canister or check your fuel lines, take the gas cap off, because you put pressure into that gas tank with the air hose, with the air nozzle at repair shops or my way. You can sever the seal where the pickup tubes bolt to the top of that gas tank, or you can pop the tank outwards to where it can actually start leaking around the seams where it was pressed together. Take that gas cap off. Take that gas cap off, okay? Before you do anything. Okay, to check, to make sure there was no restrictions between my engine and my gas tank as far as my fuel line. Okay, because a lot of them, they will have restrictions, because even though you have a rubber hose that goes from right under the engine to the metal line to your fuel pump, and then it's a metal line goes all the way back to that gas tank where another rubber hose about this on. Those metal lines can get rust in them, and this creates blockage of your flow, and you can have restricted fuel delivery. So here's what I did. This is an air pump for cars. It plugs into your cigarette lighter outlet. Okay, you know, you got right here your cigarette lighter outlet. This model, let's see, is made by Slime. Alright, let me see how many pounds this thing goes up to. Let me see. Wow. This thing will pump up to 220 pounds. And this particular one is made by Slime. I'm not advertising here, guys. I'm just telling you. Everyone ought to carry one of these in your car in a plug kit, because, you know, if you have a flat, if you can find out where the nail is, you know, if you have a pair of pliers, pull the nail out, do the plug kit, or just air it up so you can get home with one of these, you know, plugged to your cigarette line. Well, here's what I did. I took that rubber fuel line, it went to that fuel pump, bolted to my engine. And see, I put this is a stainless steel I carry as a spare in my Cadillac. It's a valve stem extender. You see? It's just a valve stem extender as to where, see, I just push this in there. See, it's a valve stem extender. Okay, you push it in there like that, and then you push this down, it locks it, just like you're putting it on your wheel on your car. Alright, from there, here's how I did it. Here's some rubber hose right in here I can demonstrate. The rubber hose that went to the metal line down by my engine, I shoved this in the metal line. And you can clamp it right here, or you can hold it, you know, whichever. And I just turned the pump on. And I set a towel under it because it dampens the vibration. These things are kind of loud. And I just let it pump. It built up about 20 pounds on that fuel line, and then the poundage quit building up. And I could walk back there by that gas tank, and the fuel line pickup tube goes almost all the way to the bottom of your tank. See, and I could hear that gas going blub, 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 and air pushing out of the filler net from the back of the car. So I thought, okay, that line's cleared up. We're in good shape there. So I put on my filter, inline fuel filter, and hooked that back up. And while I was at it, I looked at my fuel vapor canister that's up on the right front side under the hood of my car, and I thought, I wonder if this damn thing is working. Okay, I pulled the rubber hose off the top of the fuel vapor canister. It's got two outlets, and one goes down to a metal line. It's on top of the frame on the right side, right about the middle of my V8 engine. I tried to blow through that shit ass. I couldn't blow through it, and I'm like, damn. That thing, obviously that line is rusted, and those don't even hold gasoline, because that assembly, it goes all the way back to your tank, but it just has an opening at the very top of the inside of the tank. Its purpose is to catch moisture, and as you're driving the car, and your fuel level goes down, vacuum builds up in the tank. So it has a way to ventilate, because it's called your evaporative emissions, okay, but it's also an evaporative ventilation assembly. A lot of people skip evaporative is a small part of its function. Its ventilation purposes are much more significant than the evaporative, because you've got to have the ventilation or your engine will shut down, or you can collapse the gas tank literally from the vacuum buildup. So anyway, I hooked this up, and I went to blowing through that, it built up 40 pounds. And it would ooze through a little bit, but I couldn't even hear it coming out of the tank, just the air. So I pulled this off. I squirted probably about a quarter of a cup of WD-40. I put the straw in it and just filled that rubber hose up I had connected to that metal line at the front of my car. And then I put this valve stem extender in that, and I turned it on. It built up about 20 pounds, and then all of a sudden something goes. Because the pump was still running, but it went back to zero. I went back there, and I could put my hand over the filler neck of the gas tank, and air would go, and I'm like, hallelujah. See, I knew I had cleared that line, so what it is, that WD-40 softened that rust. And of course, when it broke free, surely a little bit of rust from that metal line, sure it was going to drop down in that tank, and so would that, a fourth of a cup of WD-40. But the WD-40 is not going to hurt nothing because the car almost has a full tank of gas, so that's not going to matter. As far as that little bit of rust, what the fuel sock doesn't catch, the fuel filter behind my fuel pump will catch. But anyway, it's remedied. See, it's free now to where it can not only condensation that can build up in my tank, like when my fuel gets down to a half tank and when condensation can build up at the top of your tank. See, it can evaporate through the evaporative line that goes up to the fuel vapor canister, charcoal canister, because that line is now free. And it's sealed off all the way until you get to that sealed off unit charcoal canister, okay? But the method I wanted to tell you all about here is, how to do this. And it's actually very simple, but be sure to take your gas cap off. Because I'll tell you, this little baby right here, it can clear your fuel lines from your engine to your gas tank, plus it can clear your evaporative lines from that engine and that vapor canister to your gas tank. But your engine will run a lot better. It will run as it did when your car was brand new, whenever that was. Now this method I'm talking about, people, this is only for cars that are carbureted cars. I believe my '89 Cadillac was the last carbureted American production car. I believe was the last one. The others, this method will not work, and I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't operate in the same fashion. The later models, it's a different horse of a different color. It's going to be, from 1990 up, it's going to be throttle body dual injectors. After that, it's going to be port fuel injected, which uses a fuel pressure regulator and backup valve to where you can't just simply blow through it, because if you do, being the electric pump is in the gas tank, you can ruin your electric fuel pump if you try to put back air pressure into those. See, that's a different horse. But for 1989 year and below, you have one of these babies, that's how to clear your evaporative lines and to clear your fuel lines from front to back. It worked for me. It's a great method. You just need to get you a valve stem extender to stick in the end and then push the little lock thing down on it. The other end goes into your cigarette lighter outlet, or whatever. But again, I'm not advertising for this product. But anybody that doesn't carry one of these in a car, I have to declare that they are an idiot. Why not? Why shouldn't you? Because see, not only can you air up a flat tire and get from the next corner to the next or to a gas station, But look, it's got a light on it. It's got a light on it, man. Why wouldn't anybody want one of these? I'm sure glad I've got one. I think I'm going to buy an extra because I have 4 vehicles, you know. And another thing, I also use this to clean out my fuel vapor charcoal canister. Because see, those have to function too. I just put a piece of that rubber hose I showed you, rubber fuel line. This is 3/8 inch is what this is. And I put it on the fuel vapor canister, you know, pulled the original hose off, put this on it, it blew through it to the outlet hose. It has a one-way valve in the bottom of it, you know. So that part's okay. I'm not worried about it. And there was no water or moisture in it, you know, so I'm okay there. And of course, as you know, everybody, always check your fuel count. Always check your fuel count. Because fuel count plays a big part in the ventilation of your tank, not just the sealing of your fuel tank, but also it does have its own little vent valve too. Right in the middle of the inside of that cap, you should be able to suck through that, but not blow out of it. Right in the center, it's got little holes inside a gas cap. Make sure your gas cap is working right, because that can build up a hell of a lot of vacuum too, you know. And that's another ventilation source. Your EVAP ventilation and your fuel cap allowance for some ventilation from that area. That's very important. You see, with a gasoline engine, or even in a diesel, it's like anything. You have to have air. If you barbecue out on your patio tonight, that barbecue to get those coals hotter to light them up, it has to breathe air, it has to have air, and then it has to ventilate or it will smother itself. You know, everything has to ventilate. But I hope this helps you people. It's valuable information. Because, you know, I just showed you how to clear your EVAP system and your all of your older carbureted cars, and to clean out and make your evaporative ventilation emissions work, which is very important. But anyway, y'all have a great day, or y'all have a great night. Later, later, later. Da 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 da.